morning, everyone. How you guys doing? Happy Saturday, or whatever day you're watching this. It is a new vlog, and we're doing something a little bit different. I've talked about this a little bit on stream. I've talked about it a little bit on podcast, but I'm trying to read more often, and I've been telling you guys this. I'm trying to read more often. I'm trying to read books and novels and actual books. Um, and I can't really do audiobooks. They don't keep my attention, so I actually have to physically read. And so I've got a book back in November at PAX last year called Maya, Book 1, Seed Takes Root. So I was getting ready to leave PAX on Sunday. I was headed to my last meeting, and I ended up just getting stopped at this table uh, with some miniatures and some books and things like that there. And I got to talking to the two gentlemen that were there. I believe their names were Anad Gandhi and Zain Maman. I don't actually, I'm going to be 100% honest, it was back in November. I should have gotten a selfie with them or something. I feel terrible about that. But I don't remember who I actually talked to. But I talked to the writers of the book that we read, which is called Maya, or the book I read, which is called Maya, Seed Takes Root. It's Maya, Book 1, Seed Takes Root. This is it. This isn't it, actually. I need to be 100% clear. This is an advanced reader copy of the book. I was speaking to the gentlemen. They were so nice. They were so kind. And they gave me a copy of the book to read. And I said to them, my goal is to read one book a year. And I have not read a book yet this year. So this will be my first book. I unfortunately did not hit that goal. I am sorry, guys. It took me until February of this year to start the book, and then because of health issues and not feeling good, I was not able to stick with it, and it took me close to 2 months to read. That is not an attack on the book. I want this to be known. This book was good. It's just me. I am bad at reading. That's all it is. I'm bad at reading. I've talked about this before, I need very specific conditions to read. I need to have headphones in with music playing. I need to be in a space where there's not a lot of movement or action. If anything happens, it pulls my interest away. I have to keep very close focus, because if I look away, I'm going to lose my spot in the page. There are times, even when reading, even when keeping focus, that I'll read the same line 2 or 3 times because I will go to the next line and just accidentally go back to the same line. Reading is hard for me. Reading is very hard for me. And so when they gave me this book and they told me about it, they told me it's based, I believe they told me, and I might be wrong, if anybody knows the lore of Maya, please comment. If anybody knows more about this, please comment. I am going to email this to them and let them know, like, hey, I finally read your book. Thank you so much. Which this book is actually outdated. I was reading their Kickstarter to keep up with it, and it turns out that they've had to rewrite a number of chapters, which is why it's been delayed. The original release was supposed to be sometime around now. I think it actually read at one point February or March. It's now pushed back to August, and they've had to actually get the audiobook re-recorded for a couple of chapters, whom the audiobook is being read by Hugo Weaving. Elrond from Lord of the Rings. I believe he wasn't he, what's his name from Transformers? Megatron. I believe it was Megatron from Transformers. He was Red Skull in Captain America, the First Avenger. He was Agent Smith in The Matrix. You know who Hugo Weaving is. So they're having him read the books for the audiobook. I was not part of the Kickstarter. I don't have access to that. But honestly, I'm probably gonna. I know people who love audiobooks, and I would buy this for them because I thought this book was that good. Now, because this book is not out yet, I don't want to go do a full spoiler review on this book. However, the first 6 chapters are up, and you can read them for free over on their Kickstarter. And I'll talk about their Kickstarter. So that's where we're going to get to. We're going to get into the first 6 chapters. And we're going to set the scene for the world. Basically, this world is the world of Ne, where there is this weave of trees and roots known as the Maya tree that people can sink into and put their consciousness within. And the authorities, it's kind of like a surveillance state, police state, um, where the authorities can actually use that to like research crime, basically, because when you upload your consciousness, then the Maya tree knows it, and people can tap into that to like see what happened where and how things happened. So it is law in this world that you must tap into the Maya tree every so often. In this world, it is possible to ascend into godhood known as divyas, and that happens uh, through a trial that gets ran whenever a divya retires or dies, or just leaves their position. A thing called the Maya trials happens that takes place within the Maya tree. Um, and that you learn more about that later on in the book. We're not going to get into that right away because the book starts with you following a character. Their race is known as the Nog, which is a snake character. Let's see if I can pull up an image for it. I believe there's all images. Like the book has illustration of each of the characters, and I'm just gonna scroll down to the illustrations on their Kickstarter so I can show you what these characters look like. So right here, we're at the Nog. So let's pop this up. So this is the Nog. This is a snake character. So you're following a snake character known as Kotak, or at least in this version, he's known as Kotak. They might have changed his name. Where he is, and apologies if I get any of these names wrong. The this book was written by a couple of gentlemen from India, so they have a lot of Hindu referenced and Sanskrit referenced names that may be a little bit harder for my stupid English American English brain. So if I say any of these names wrong, I apologize. Please correct me. But it's also a fantasy sci-fi book, so people always get names wrong. And there were definitely times I was reading this book that I just skipped over the name and it's just like blah, 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 in my head because some of the names are just they're a lot. They're a lot. And it's because it's a sci-fi fantasy book. But you're following Karkotak, who is tapping into the Maya tree in order to cause a revolution at the Maya trials in order to kill the front runner. And he's trying to figure it out, and eventually he does. So, like chapter 2, he figures it out. He taps into it deeply and figures out what he can do, and it's all dependent on a little girl and like a seed that happens to be there that's kind of out of place. And the book explains that to you. He learns about this little girl and if she's going to be here and what he needs to do. And he knows it's the right time because the seed is there. And how did the seed get there? Because the seed is from a far off land. And in order for it to get there, it has to go from here to there to here to there. And based on what the Maya knows, this seed would get there. But as the book is explaining about the seed leaving the tree and making its way into the city, the book explains that it hits somebody and stops in its tracks. And then from that point on, you are following the main character of the book, known as Yache, who is someone who does not tap into the Maya tree because he has been told that he has a disease and he can get sick or he can potentially kill the Maya tree or something of that nature. I don't quite remember why it is he was told why he can't get tap into the tree. And so the Maya tree and the root system cannot accommodate for him because they don't know about him. So this seed hitting him was not known, so that when it comes to play later on, it's like, oh, well, where's that seed at? And it's just a really cool. That is pretty much like the first 3 or 4 chapters, and we're not going to go too far into that because, like I said, this is world building. This is just trying to promote this book for you. But I had a lot of fun reading it. It was a very good book. The illustrations, the character design. So, for instance, we've got the Nog, we have the Garuda, which are giant bird people. Generally, you think Garuda are like anthropomorphized birds. No, this is just a straight up. This is a giant bird. We have the Rakshasi, which my D&D background, I see Rakshasi as like a tiger person. they are actually shapeshifters, and it's not until they become fully mature where they get to decide their gender, which is a really cool throw in. And they um, eat the flesh of rotting corpses. They don't kill; they eat the dead. But a lot of people are afraid of them because they think they're going to kill them so they can eat them. But they're made to keep balance within the world. Then you have the Gandharva, which are these mushroom people. They have two personalities. They have two heads, two personalities. They're very interesting and they're very adaptive, diving into the Maya tree. Then you have, do they have them here? The Vanar, which are ape-like monkey people, which were really cool. There's not really any main character Vanars, but they tend to be like the police of the world. Um, I wish I may be wrong, but I don't think any of the Vanars were main characters, or at least main characters for long. And then lastly, Yache is the Manusha, which I are basically the humans of the world, as you can see. Um, they have the shortest lifespan. They have like they're just they're the most. I believe the book at one point said the Divyas are mostly Manushyas. I might be wrong though. But like they're the most, they're the least advanced, but the most advanced kind of. It's very like interesting. That like they're, I don't know. I liked them. I liked them. It was really cool. I'd have to learn more about the lore of these characters. Um, but it was just learning about this world building and all these characters was incredibly fun and very interesting to learn about the different takes or the different ideas of how these characters are and what these characters are and how they come into play, and meeting some of the characters throughout the book as the team assembles basically. It was fascinating to see like how they change things up on a lore of a world that I don't know anything about besides what I've read. So like they do things differently for these Maya trials, or somebody's trying to do things differently for these Maya trials than for the previous ones. And it is a really cool, really well written book. But like I said, this version I have um is a pre-release early copy. They have rewritten chapters at times, and that's part of why it's taken so long to get into production. So my book is very, very outdated, and he even made sure to tell me like this is like not the most up to date version, but it was still really cool. Even like had the holographic thing um, right there. So Divya, and I believe that is a, I don't know who that is. I actually don't know who that is. Um, but yeah, I had a lot of fun reading this book. I really enjoyed it, and I think everyone should keep an eye out for it for when it comes out. It was well funded very quickly on their Kickstarter. Let's just go up here. 4,200% funded. Um, so they were able to get $426,000 to bring it to life, and it is a passion project for the people that wrote it, the people that made it, the science and technology behind it, where it is sci-fi more than fantasy, but has fantasy themes and tones to it as well. The technology where it's like biotech, so it's not super like machined. It is more like organic technology, which is really cool. um and the artwork, as you saw on like in the one page I showed you, and some of the artwork on here. So yeah, Kishar is probably the actual name of Krokotek. Ayn is a really cool character. I really liked them. um and then yeah, it's, look, I was trying to come up with a lot of things to say about it, but I just wanted to talk highly about this book and how much I enjoyed it and enjoyed reading it, and I want to send this over to them, and I want to get this book known. It is one of three, so the book does wrap up with like not really an ending. The book is a setup. It is 100% a setup for the next two, and it was good how it set it up. It was very interesting how it set it up. what's going on with Yache and why he's told not to dive into the Maya tree. And based on this game, they have a couple of, or not based on this game, based on this book, I believe I've read, I can't find it anymore right now. I believe I read that they were planning on like an RPG series. So I have over here, what did I do with, oh, right here. I have a miniature for one of their games that they are making, and this is a character known as Baluta, which is a coolie. Um, and so for this is one of the miniatures for their game, The Trials of Maya, which I will link it down below. You can sign up for the newsletter on it. Let me pull up the Board Game Geek for this real quick. Here we go. So Trials of Maya, the board game, is a MOBA style board game where you are competing against each other in the Trials of Maya to ascend to divinity. It is not out yet, even though Board Game Geek says it should be out by now. It is not out yet, as far as I can tell. I can't find it anywhere, so I'm gonna reach when I email them this. I'm gonna reach out to get more information about this. But here's the QR code um, of their postcard, and yeah, I think they're planning on a bunch of different games and tie-ins, maybe an RPG system, which unfortunately, like, it's hard for me to do RPG systems, but I'm totally 100% down for board games. And this is like a card game, similar to I remembered it, Malediction, similar to Malediction that I talked about at PAX last year and the year before, where it's like a card-based battle game where you use miniatures, and that's kind of what I'm getting in terms of the vibes of Trials of Maya. Is you use cards and such to be able to move your characters around the board, be able to attack each other, and have to win and complete the Trials of Maya. This looks like this image right here looks like it's still like a tester copy. This might have been at PAX, to be 100% honest. This could have been at PAX this year. I'm not entirely sure. I didn't get a chance to check out the game, unfortunately. Um, Jujutsu is another game that's going to be within the Maya world, or it might be actually Trials of Maya just named differently. I'm not entirely sure. Um, but it seems like a cool game and within a world that is very cool and very fascinating. Um, and like I wish I could say more about it, but like I said, the it's not out yet. It's not out. You can go store.entermaya.com, and I believe you can enter to try to. Let's see what happens if I click add to cart. Yeah, I mean I should be able to buy. You might be able to buy it. I'm not entirely sure. You can't get it on their Kickstarter anymore, but there are 3 books. There's a lore book. There's an environment map book, and then there is Seed Takes Root, which is the first one, the one I read, and then Whispers in the Soil, and then what is the last one? It Becomes the Forest. So there are 3 books that they're planning on, which is nice to see in a fantasy series because most of the time, or a lot of the times, when you talk about these big fantasy series, like what was it? I was talking to Cobb about. Oh, Dungeon Crawler Carl is 8 books now. The Wheel of Time is like what over 9 books and stuff like that. Like this is a set like 3 books, and this is a series that I can get into. It's a series that I can easily read and get into, and I'm happy with that. Um, but yeah, guys, I highly suggest you guys look into Maya. Look at I will link their Kickstarter. I will link their Trials of Maya page, and I will link the store.entermaya.com. But I think this is the pledge page, so I don't really know if I don't know how I got access to that. I don't know how I found that, just from googling it. But you might be able to buy it. You might be able to pre-order it at some point, or just keep an eye out for it at like for the game at your friendly local game store, or for the book at on Amazon or on online somewhere. I'm sure you'll be able to find it. but it was an incredible book, and I was so happy to finally finish reading it because it was just the way the book wrapped up and ended. I absolutely I was encapsulated. Like I read generally for me 10 to 20 pages is my limit per day no matter what time I'm reading. Once I reach like 20 to 30 pages, I start to get really tired and I start to fall asleep. But I read the last almost 100 pages in one day. It was across two sittings, but it was still in one day. Like I read the first half and then I ate lunch and then I read the second half. And it was a day well spent. It was a day well spent. I had a really good time reading it. And I'm excited to see what else comes from these guys, what else uh we get to read and learn about this world. I am very fascinated in the world building, and I'm very interested to see like where these books go. And I both want it to hit major franchise rights, so potential movies or animated series and stuff. I would love to see more games and things like that. So here we go. Maya Seed Takes Root kicks off the sprawling narrative universe of Maya, unfolding across novels, films, games, graphic novels, toys, and immersive experiences. So like they have plans on this game getting or this book to grow, to get huge, and to have it across all different forms of life of enjoyment. And I'm really excited about that. And I had a very good time reading this book. I thought it was very well done, very well written. I will say the one thing I didn't quite like about the book is in the beginning it has like pretty much a forward informing you that the book itself is written in a sense to have been translated from the language of Ne to our language. And so there are some words that cannot be directly translated. So it's marked with an icon, and then you can go to the appendix in the back, and it'll give you a better description of it. I wasn't too much of a fan of that. I wish they would have just given you the descriptions when because it would only happen like once per that word, and then that whenever that word happened again. So if you just in the front page was like this is what this means, or this is what this is. This is the answers. Best approximation. Like I would have liked that better. Because for me at least, it's hard to like be in the middle of reading and then have to go all the way to the back and have to go back and then get back into the pace of reading and get back into it. So it kind of took me out of it. I like that it was something there. Like I didn't know what some of these characters were, what some of these words were until like more than halfway through the book. Like they don't give you a great description of some of the characters throughout the book until you read the the appendix of what these characters and art look like. So I wish they would have just kind of explained it a little bit better as you're reading it and not require the double back. But that may be just in this version of the book, this early release version of the book. It may not be in the final. It may be in the final. I can't say for sure. But I thought this book was very well paced. Every chapter kept me interested. It was even early on as I would read. I'd just be like, I want one more chapter. I want one more chapter. But I was reading at 10 o'clock at night. By the time I got done, like 10 to 20 pages, I would be like, all right, I'm tired. I'm getting ready to fall asleep because that's just how reading goes for me. But yeah, this book was great. It's incredible. Maya, book one, Seed Takes Root. Should definitely keep an eye out for it. See if you can find it. Keep an eye out on it online. See if you can buy it online directly from them. Buy direct from them or buy from a local shop. Don't buy it online on Amazon. I mean, unless you're buying it directly from them on Amazon, but still try to just buy it directly from them because that would be a lot better. Support smaller creators, support smaller businesses, stuff like that. You know how I am. But I want to throw a thank you to Anad Gandhi and Zain Maman for giving me this copy of this book. This is incredible. I absolutely enjoyed it, and I cannot wait to see what else comes from this. And for anyone who wants to keep track with me, now that we're done with that, now that we've finished reading that, who wants to read the same books as I am, I'm trying to catch up on one book a month. So right now we have one book in 4 months, and the next book I am reading, and I'm gonna try to get started on it this weekend, is Sea of Thieves: Heart of Fire. So I want to try to get this done in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and if I do, we'll have another book club video about this where I'll be able to talk more about it because it's actually released. Um, but that's it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you found a new book to read. I am lending this book to Cobb to read it. And then if I have any other friends who want to read it, I'll probably lend it to them when it comes their time. So thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this. Um, if you've gotten a chance to read this, if you've gotten an advanced copy book, or if you have any more questions about the book, leave them down below. I'll try to answer best I can without spoiling anything. If you're excited about the series, if you kickstarted it, whatnot, please let me know, and I will. We can talk more about it because I'm incredibly excited. And yeah, leave comments down below, like the video, share this, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check me out live here on YouTube and Twitch, Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Check out the other videos I make on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Thank you guys so much. Please be careful, be safe, don't do anything I would do, always hurt your loved ones. And of course, like always, be sure to wear mismatched socks. See you all in the next one. Bye!